Craig Adams here from WhenInFilmSchool.com, and today I'm doing a review of the Glidecam HD4000 and doing a guide on how to use them at weddings. So I keep my Glidecam HD4000 in this little black bag here, and it holds everything. I actually have this little side compartment. I got some extra balance weights in there if I ever need it. But my camera's pretty much set up to like what I use it for. So I've got the 3 parts in here, so I'm just gonna grab those quick. So putting it together is super easy. You know, you just have 3 parts, so just takes 4 seconds. And you'll notice that my Glidecam is a little dinged up, a little battle worn. I've been using it for almost 2 years, a little over 2 years. A lot of weddings, a lot of different shoots, so it's definitely not as pretty as yours might be. So the first thing you'll notice on the top sled is this Manfrotto base plate quick release. So I use Manfrotto plates for everything, so it just made sense to be able to put it in and out quick. That's an extra like 40 bucks. I recommend if you're using Manfrotto to get it. Just makes everything so much easier. And you'll also notice that I took out these 2 screws. And so instead of 4, I have these 2, just because it makes things quicker and easier if you are taking the weights on and off. So yeah, so I've got my 6D here with the Manfrotto base plate on it, and I've got a 24 to 105. That's the lens that I like to use with it, just because it is versatile and has IS, but you know, like a 16 to 35 would be good just to get that little extra wide angle. But on a full frame, I've found that 24 is pretty good. I'll use like 35 mil every so often, but yeah. So put your camera so that the middle of the weight is distributed on each side of the sled as much as possible, just with the plate. So you'll see it's like hanging over a little bit, just because if I put it all the way up to the middle, it would probably be front heavy. So that's good for that. So I always like to turn my camera on, because seeing the readout and actually having the levels on the camera will help as you're balancing it. So the first thing we do is we turn it to the side, and I like to spin it until it's found its pure center of balance for that, and then let it go, like frozen. Let it go. And that's actually pretty good, depending on how I had it balanced last time. If it's dropping too quick, you definitely want to let go of some of that weight. I'm actually going to take a little bit more so that it's actually at the lowest possible. If I wanted to lose some more weight from this side even more, I'd have to take weights off, but that seems perfect to me. It's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, so that's good. Because you want it to fall down, but not too much. Okay, so then just letting it go off on its own a little bit, you notice that the front is pulling this way, and it's actually tilting this way a little bit. So I'm going to loosen up the sled so that I can make adjustments to the top here. And that's these 4 screws and then these 2 on each side. And so then we can move the sled this way and that way as much as we want. So I pull it to the center. So I want it to go this way. So I'm going to pull this back. And I'm going to turn to the side so you can see that. So now we did too much. And it's really just about finding that balance. And I kind of have to do this every time I pull out my Glidecam. And I actually make small adjustments per shot. So it's tilting up a little bit. Just a tiny bit more. And I found that you almost want it to be tilting up a little bit because that usually looks good for shots. Okay, so that looks, I feel like that's pretty good for that. So now I'll turn back, and you notice that it goes this way a little bit. So we'll make a slight adjustment there. And this axis you want perfectly dead center. You don't want it to tilt to one side or the other, so definitely want to make that good. Okay. So that looks good. And the level is showing green when I have it balanced like that, so that helps. Okay, so then that actually, let me do a last minute adjustment. Okay. That looks good to me. Okay, so then you'll notice that, after that, the sled still wants to move, so we have to retighten these down. And we shouldn't have to undo them until we have to make another adjustment, but it should be set for right now, so. Tightening all 8 down. Cool, and then I'm just gonna see how it feels by doing a motion like that. And you want it to stay up as much as possible when you do a motion like this, and that's kind of how I test, its balance. I'll do one more. It's pretty good. So it feels great. Yeah, you can just tell when it's on. It just feels perfect. And I love Glidecamming, so this makes me want to actually go do some shots. So let's go do some. I've got my Glidecam. You definitely, the stupider you look when you're Glidecamming, the smoother the shot. So just like, if you're very good at looking stupid, you usually get good Glidecam shots. Definitely want to bend your knees and shit like that. I'm at 24 mil right now, and you'll notice that my left hand really isn't really touching that much at all. It's just delicate moves in case I want to spin off to the side or something. So it's all this hand doing the work. Yeah, I look totally crazy right now. And for exposing for shots like this, you definitely want to keep your shutter low because it helps with motion blur. The shot looks weird if you have it over like 1/100th. So I try to keep it 1/50 for the shutter speed, and then go from there. And then as far as iris, I've got 5.6 right now. Thanks, boss. Thanks, second boss. So the iris you want closed so that everything is in focus, because when you're Glidecamming, it's usually wide shots and you don't have any time to fiddle with the focus. So the more that is in focus, the better for Glidecam shots. So you want good motion blur with like 1/50 rather than 1/400. And you want a closed iris so that everything is in focus and you don't have to fiddle with the focus. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. So a good shot that I like to do a lot is one where you start low and then you kind of just let it build up and then you kind of just let it bounce back out. That's like to reveal something like up to a villa or a house, or even like the bride and groom entering. You kind of like, you're like, oh boy, oh boy. And Glidecam is awesome because you can do like awesome walking selfies and be like, oh, hello. Oh shit.